to Easel Water Treatment Limited in Cambridge, Ontario. Today I'm going to show you how to do a filter change on a Hue 400 under-counter Easel system. Let me introduce you to the system first. This is your control box. This is your pre-filter, 5 micron sediment. This is the cell where the electrolytic process begins. This is the pressure tank. This is your post filter and 2 carbon block filters. So the process here is the water comes in from your house through the first pre-filter. It goes into the electrolytic cell. It comes out of the cell, goes into the pressure tank. When you open your tap at the sink, the water comes out of the pressure tank through the 5 micron post filter, and then through 2 5 micron carbon block filters and out to your tap. So before you start, you're going to need to buy your 4 filters for replacement. You can do this by giving us a call. We can sell them to you out of our office, or we can ship them to you. You can also purchase them from most box stores that sell other filters. So there are 2 5 micron simple sediment filters and 2 5 micron carbon block. Okay, I'm back, and I have purchased my 4 filters, so I'm ready to complete the filter change. What I have here are the 2 simple sediment filters. These are 5 micron. They're melt-blown polypropylene. There are various types of sediment filters, but this is what we tend to use. So if you're comparing these to the carbon block and you want to know how to tell them apart, the sediment filters will be the same texture all over. They kind of resemble a fabric. The carbon block filters, however, they're encased in plastic. So the end is plastic. The color might change depending on who the manufacturer is, but that doesn't matter. We just use a 5 micron carbon block. The other thing to notice is it has like a mesh screen on the outside. It also has an O-ring on it. It has one on each end. So if this O-ring comes off during when you're unwrapping it, make sure you put it back on. Sometimes the O-ring is black and this one is clear. Make sure you put the O-ring back on, or it might leak. Just put it back into the seat. And you're all set. So I've got my new filters. It's time to turn the water off, turn the system off, and make sure that we don't get wet. You should also make sure you have your wrench with you. This would have been included with your system, so you should have this somewhere nearby. So turn off the power to the system. Isolate the pressure tank by turning off the valve on the top of it. If the valve is perpendicular to the line coming in and out, then it's off. If it's parallel to the line coming out, then it's open. So make sure it's closed. And then you'll have a valve over here that is your feed water from your house. Turn off the valve that's over here. So your system should be isolated, and you also need to relieve the pressure at the tap. So go to the tap. Now that the system's isolated, go to the tap, open it up, and just allow any water that's in the lines to come out. That should stop you from getting wet, mostly. It's also a good idea to have a bucket, because when you take the filter off, the housing is full to the top with water. So sometimes you can splash yourself. You don't want to get the floor wet. It's good to have a bucket underneath to just dump it into. So I like to start with the pre-filter. Use your wrench, slide it up on the bottom, and lefty-loosey. So push to the left just to loosen it, and once it's loose, you can remove it with your hands. Just unscrew that. And I've already emptied out the water, so it's not full of water, but there's my pre-filter. This pre-filter is not actually that dirty. It can take a lot more dirt, because you can see the center, there's still a little bit of white left. That means that there's probably a couple months left of life in this filter, but it's okay to change it early. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'm going to set that filter aside, get the new filter. Make sure that when you're putting the filter into the housing, you seat it on the plastic seat that's at the very bottom of the filter housing. That just keeps it centered so that when you screw it up to the top, you get a perfect fit. So I've centered that. If you're having a hard time when you're trying to screw this in, you can go back and forth a little bit. That kind of moves the filter around in there and helps to get it centered. I think it's okay now. All right. So you're only supposed to hand tighten these in order to avoid cracking the plastic. If you turn it back on and there are leaks, you can use your wrench to tighten it just a little bit more, but it is ideal if you can get away with just hand tightening, then you're not risking cracking anything. So just hand tighten first and then deal with any leaks if they occur. So that's your pre-filter. This is your first post-filter. That's the same 5 micron sediment, and then these two 5 micron carbon blocks, they go into the solid white housings. Just repeat the same step for all of them, making sure that you seat it in the bottom and that you screw it on nice and tight, but only with your hands. Okay, so I have replaced all of the used filters with my new filters, and I've put the canisters back onto the system. I'm just going to make sure that everything is tight before I turn the water back on. Just hand tighten. Okay, we're all tight. So first turn the power back on so that any water that comes into the system is getting treated. Power. Now we're going to turn on the feed water to allow the system to repressurize. Okay, so the valve that's here that's coming in from your house, turn that on. You'll see the water start to fill up inside the canisters, and you can hear it moving through the system. When you have this system on, your green light should be on that says power. And then when the water starts to flow through the system and it registers the flow, the treating light that's blue will turn on to let you know that it's treating the water. So as this pressurizes, check for leaks. Make sure you check all around the edges here. And if there are any leaks, you can turn it off, depressurize it with your tap again, and unscrew, unless you can fix it with just a quarter turn of the wrench. If a filter's leaking and a little turn of the wrench will fix it, then that's great. If not, then you might need to take it off, reposition the filter. The filter might be crooked in there, and try putting it back on again. So if you have no leaks, that's fantastic, and it's time to open up the pressure tank. So the valve on the pressure tank, put it parallel to the line, and you're fully pressurized. So another thing I should note is that you might have filters in a different order here than what you're seeing. Depending on the model that you have or when you purchased it, these filters may be in a different spot, but the clear housing is always the sediment filter, and the solid housing is always the carbon filter. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or concerns, or you'd like to order filters or service, we also perform service for you. If you need anything, please give us a call at the EASL office in Cambridge. Thank you for watching, and I hope you stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Thanks.